Hey, what's up, y'all? It's been a very hectic day, very busy day. I had my topic already set in my head, what I wanted to talk about, and then I look online and I see some stuff trending. I didn't want to put it in my topic because it only pushes certain topics up. But anyways, the whole discussion, main discussion is flat Earth, the Anunnaki, the Matrix, and how that all relates. Been talking about the possibility of the flat Earth. Whether you believe it or you don't believe it is neither here or there. It's really not going to affect your day-to-day life or how you live things, but it may help us understand history, and that's why the flat Earth theory is important, because it helps us understand about history. Where do we come from? And the people who are, I guess, trying to block that knowledge or block that research and trying to give you topics like Tila, tequila, and like, look at this bitch, man, she supports the flat Earth. It must be stupid, it must be really dumb, versus all the people that have been talking about flat Earth. Flat Earth must be trending. It must be trending, but do they put people who are actually talking sense, people who have actually done research and who are actually sending up missiles and balloons, not missiles, rockets, sending up rockets and researching this? Nah, they're not gonna put them as a trending topic. They're gonna put a dumbass bitch Tila Tequila and make her the spokesperson for flat Earth, for the flat Earth theory. So what happens is it quickly gets discredited with a bunch of people, most common people in their minds, because nobody respects Tila Tequila. I'm gonna tell you about Tila Tequila. For a while, she started talking some conspiracy shit, like back in the day, a few, maybe 5-10 years ago, not 10, maybe about 5 to 8 years ago. She started talking about some really deep conspiracy shit, and then she just got quiet all of a sudden. I mean, she was talking about Satanism and stuff in Hollywood and some real shit that they were doing. You know what I mean? Some real deep shit. Then all of a sudden she just stopped making videos. She came back with some bullshit. She started coming back. So I subscribed for a second. I was like, oh, this girl, she done changed. She done changed up the game. Then she came back and she started talking all this bullshit, like just a different person. So it just goes to show, like, famous people, they try to expose. I don't know, a lot of people say MK Ultra and stuff like that, and I know a few of y'all believe in MK Ultra. It might have been MK Ultra. I don't know what happened, because she was a mover and a shaker in Hollywood for a minute, doing her thing. She was hobnobbing with the right people. She got famous from being nothing, from being a MySpace hoe, and then boom, she was famous and on TV and stuff. And then she stopped doing that stuff, and then she started exposing like real shit. And then when she got popular exposing shit, she stopped making videos, and she came back talking just some basic bullshit, and it was like, what is this? So a lot of people have written her off already as a shill. S-H-I-L-L. She's a shill. I tweeted that, man. She is a shill. She's basically being used to distract people. So fuck her. Anyhow, back to my topic. I was discussing the possibility of flat Earth, and if it was possible, how does that relate to the Anunnaki? Because for those who've kind of kept up with Sitchin and the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki do discuss planets, and they're discussed in Babylonian mythology and also Sumerian, and they do discuss planets. So my idea is that I would like to present, just to entertain it for a second, is that the planet, it was at one time a sphere, and I have a subscriber, Keyshawn, suggested some things, as well as Vesper. These are other subscribers of mine who suggested some things that because Vesper, you believe also in the hollow Earth, and I entertain that thought as well, that maybe not completely hollow, but there may be some caves and caverns that go deep within the earth, because we're talking about that's based upon mythology about, you know, Tartarus and Gehenna, those lower levels, the underworld that's supposedly underneath the ground. And there's been some stories and stuff like that. And most of the things I'm going to tell you come from mythology. So, you know, you can write it off, because if you like, oh, I don't believe mythology. All right, but I take a lot of old stories and I say, well, what if these are true? What if they're more than just myths and legends? Because we take mythology and stories, and so many stories from different, you know, tribes and nations come from very far apart people. So I'm thinking, like, what if they're true? Let's look at the similarities and not the differences. So we have the story about the Anunnaki, about these gods who supposedly created mankind. And as the mythology of the Anunnaki, before they created mankind, there was this war on the planet, and this planet was called Tiamat. And it was not populated by humans, but it was populated by this queen, and she was a dragon. She was called Tiamat, and she created pretty much everything. Now, in this story, she's supposed to be this chaotic being. She's trying to destroy the Anunnaki, and so they devise a plan to destroy her. And what they do is they conquer her and they split her in half, and one half of her becomes the heavens, and the other half of her becomes the earth. So what I want to point out is that they split her in half. So Keyshawn, you had told me that it could be very possible that when the Anunnaki and Nibiru came into cataclysm, that half of the planet was torn off and became the asteroid belt, and the other half became the planet that we know. So they had to basically reform the earth. They had to terraform the earth because of what was left of the earth, because most of it had been destroyed. The atmosphere had been destroyed. So what happens to a planet if once its atmosphere is destroyed? I mean, it pretty much freezes. So if there's any water on it or anything, it freezes, and any creatures on it have to either die or they will go underground, you know, for refuge if they survive. Or maybe there's some eggs that survive, or something else, or some DNA that survives, especially under ice. So as the Anunnaki, and also the Bible makes reference, because the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, pulls a lot of stuff from Sumerian knowledge. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. Why would God create a world without form and void? Everything else he's just speaking into existence, but in this particular instance, the earth is without form and void. Well, that goes back to the Sumerian story, which speaks about this war that happened, and basically the planet got destroyed and there was no form to it anymore. So basically they had to go in and terraform it. So they create the heavens, they create that dome on a half planet. So what we're seeing here, I'm gonna give you an example, because I believe the earth spins, and I believe that we have planets, and I believe we're in a solar system, but I believe we are in darkness. So you have basically a planet that's been torn in half, and you have this bottom half right here, but right up here, you know, there's nothing, you know. So they have to terraform it. So in order to terraform it, they have to create an atmosphere. So they're not going to build on the outside. Excuse me. They're not going to build on the outside. They're just going to put a dome and create a dome right here. Now it doesn't have to cover the entire planet. Maybe they created a smaller dome. Who knows? Because I believe if the domed Earth or the flat Earth is true, and it could be that there's more to the planet than what we even realize. And he says, "Let there be light." Now in the Bible, the Earth is formed before the sun is. And for a while, I did not believe in these things, because I'm thinking, well, the sun has to be older than. That's what science says. Science says the sun is older than the Earth. According to this, the Earth was reformed and it's older than the sun, because they created a sun inside of the firmament, and then they created a moon inside of the firmament to reflect. And according to this theory, the sun is way smaller than the Earth. That's why it can be closer. It's hideously smaller than the Earth because it's inside of the firmament, and so is the moon, which explains why during an eclipse the moon and the sun align perfectly. Because according to everything that we've studied in science about the sun, it's huge. It's humongous. It's billions of times larger than the Earth and the moon. And the moon is smaller than the Earth. The moon is not larger than the Earth. The moon is smaller than the Earth. But we are supposedly millions of miles away from the sun, so that it is a perfect size, that it perfectly aligns with the moon. I mean, what are the chances? You know, so there's a lot of questions that I have in my mind. I mean, if anything, why not we have like this huge sun in the sky, and then we just have this little black dot that represents the moon during the eclipse? But that never happens. It always aligns perfectly. So during a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse, there's always this alignment. So according to biblical scriptures and Babylonian myths and Sumerian myths, well, it doesn't say it in Sumerian myths, but in biblical scriptures, the sun and the moon are created, and they're created for this earthly plane that was created. And I won't go into detail about what the earthly plane looks like and all that stuff, but my question is if this is a flat earth, this is just my question, if it is a flat earth, is it possible that the Anunnaki created this matrix for humans as like a biodome or a bio experiment to observe, to see if they could create this human life and see how they would do and how this human life would survive? Is it possible that some outside influence, some outside alien influence created a biodome, like a zoo, from a once destroyed planet? So it's not a plane floating through space. It's actually half of a planet with the biodome on top of it, but the part that we live on is basically flat. We're not living on the round side, we're living on the flat side. That they terraformed or recreated and stuff. So this is just a question that I'm putting out there. And yeah, maybe possibly there is some hollow areas, maybe there's some caves and caverns, because whatever was on this planet before, and this is where we get the myths and legends about the reptilians or the dragons, if you want to call them that, or what the modern world would like to call dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are basically just another word for a large lizard. And for some reason we think that dinosaurs were stupid because they have small brains. Well, you know, just because your brain may be tiny doesn't mean that you're really stupid. I mean, and just because you have a large brain doesn't make you hideously smart either. And just because you went to college and you got a degree doesn't make you really smart either. So I'm just putting a question out there, that because the stories about Tiamat is about, she's a dragon, she's this reptilian creature, and she's able to create these reptilian creatures. So is it possible that this world was populated by these reptilians, and the Anunnaki, which are these humanoid aliens, basically destroyed them? The world then was basically haunted by these demonic reptilian demons, but they terraformed the world to recreate it, and they used the DNA of some of the reptilians, because that's in their myths too, and their DNA to create humans. And so now we have human beings on the planet to basically do all the mining, but they keep us in the dark about things, and that's the whole point. And then they started intermixing with the humans, which totally fucked up their experiment. And then you have the Nephilim and the giants. That's where the biblical stories of the Nephilim come from. And so they had to restart things and redo things. There's a lot, there's so much to it, and there's so many questions. So once you start entertaining the thought of the flat earth, And then you start understanding that there's more to the world. You know, because everybody that's going to see these things are already halfway awake. Most of y'all who already understand this are already halfway awake because of stuff like the Mandela effect. You know, you've already seen that stuff. The rest of these people, if they're going to be asleep, they're going to stay asleep. So I'm not even worried about that. You know, I'm not even worried about that because it's not about waking everybody up. It's just waking up those people who know there's something wrong, the stories we've been told are not completely true, or the ancient stories that we have been told that have been forgotten were actually true. So I don't know. You guys give me your 2 cents, especially about how the Anunnaki and the flat Earth theory may connect, because that's what I've been trying to search for, and not a lot of people have been talking about it. But now everybody's distracted by Tila tequila, so we'll see how far that goes. Don't get distracted by her. She's a shill. She's just they want to fill your news feed up with her. So when you go and search for a flat Earth, all you're gonna get is her. So don't even discuss her. All right, talk to you guys later. If you don't do it, then who will?